Hello everybody. So this video is a follow-up on yesterday's video on HIMSS, where I discussed a bunch of things about HIMSS, but related to the size of a GLP-1 business for HIMSS. And I essentially said in the video that no matter what, even if GLP-1s disappear entirely for HIMSS, the stock is still dirt cheap. I, of course, don't think GLP-1s are going to disappear entirely, but you may remember me showing you the guidance yesterday of what the growth rate used to be without weight loss, without GLP-1. That growth rate used to be 45% year over year without GLP-1s. Of course, with GLP-1s, the growth rate, shot up. There was an inflection. The growth rate is now 95%. But I show you in there that even with a 45% growth rate, the stock is still dirt cheap. Still cheaper than a Transmedics, still cheaper than SMCI, still cheaper than Health, and Health is darn cheap, trust me. But anyways, so watch this video if you're interested in valuation specifically, because today I only want to talk about the 15% of the revenue. 15% of the business is the GLP-1 business, but Mr. Market thinks 100% of HIMSS is the GLP-1 business. Mr. Market has forgotten about the other blockbuster products that HIMSS has: ED, anxiety, hair loss. Mr. Market has entirely forgotten about these blockbuster products and is just focusing on the GLP-1 business, which is the blockbuster of our generation. So, you may remember my video from April 1st, and I'm not the one. All of the HIMSS YouTubers, I'm not a HIMSS YouTuber. I cover a bunch of stocks, but HIMSS was one of the early stocks that I was covering, so I keep covering it. On April 1st, everybody was like, oh, wow, HIMSS is about to offer Lilly Zepbound. And the stock shot up. And then towards the end of the day, Lilly says, no, we have no affiliation with HIMSS and hers. And of course, the stock didn't do too well a few days after that statement. And so that was the whole debacle. And the question is Lilly actually, is there an actual partnership between Lilly and HIMSS or Lilly and Ro? And what I will just say is that it seems like actually it's not really a partnership. It's simply Ro sending the prescription to Lilly Direct. And so it's possible that if HIMSS, they do something, they could send the prescription to Lilly Direct. But I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think Lilly is pushing liraglutide. I think HIMSS is pushing liraglutide. And so while both statements like this could be true potentially, HIMSS is offering Zepbound now, but it's not offering it as a discount. Zepbound, Ozempic, if you look at the HIMSS website, they're decoys. They're products that are there to not be sold, in my view. That's kind of a way I look at it, because and this is called anchoring, right? This is a classic marketing technique. This is called anchoring. If you go on the website of HIMSS, what do you see? You see Ozempic, right? $1,800 a month. You see Mounjaro, $1,900 a month. You see Zepbound, $1,900 a month. And the big change, and that's where Bloomberg was right on this. The big change is that, they're selling it now. Because you may remember, it was before this was supplies unavailable. Like they had a sign that said, oh, no supply available, no supply available, no supply available. They removed that red sign that said no supply available. So now Ozempic, Mounjaro, they're available via the HIMSS platform. This is why Bloomberg was right, and Lilly has no affiliation with them, which is also right. Just HIMSS is just like another pharmacy, and they just happen to sell Zepbound like another pharmacy. But the point is, and this is your classic anchoring. They have generic liraglutide now, and liraglutide is right in the middle, right? And car wash do that, fast food do that, restaurants do that with wine, and that's like a classic. Generic liraglutide looks pretty darn good here, doesn't it? It's $299 a month versus $1,900 versus $1,800. It's $299 a month. It looks pretty darn good. And so my point is that I think HIMSS is trying to be a vertically integrated company. So it makes sense for them to be pushing what they make, to be selling what they make. And they now make a GLP-1. They make generic liraglutide. And I assume, I'm sure they'll have some branding at some point for it too, right? They could probably brand it as something, the HIMSS injectables or whatever. They could probably brand it too in the future. but they're pushing their own product, they're pushing their own pharma, very vertically integrated brand. And it seems to me like Hims is trying to sell that. And of course, the liraglutide is the original GLP-1. It's Victoza Saxenda, and it's off patent as of the end of last year. It's off patent. Anybody can make it. And the big question is, will Hims take Ro's route? And what I will say is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Hims is going to take Ro's route, because the question about Ro and their partnership with Lilly is it a formal partnership? And I don't think it's any form of formal partnership. I think Ro with Lilly is simply Ro sending your prescription to Lilly just like any provider would. I think it's just Ro, if you qualify. So Ro is going to provide you with a doctor, right? And the doctor is going to decide whether you qualify or not. And then Ro will just send the prescription to Lilly self-pay. That's what I think is going to happen. And so I don't know if the payment goes entirely through Ro and then Ro pays for you on Lilly, or if you actually have to create a separate account with Lilly and pay at Lilly. I don't know if there's a distinction here. But you know what makes me say that. And by the way, if you know more, if you've used Ro in the comment section, by all means, please do say. But what leads me to believe this is how it works, because Ro says if you've been prescribed Zepbound single-dose vials, they will be shipped to you directly to your via Lilly Direct partner pharmacy. Well, but you know, every provider has partner pharmacies. Like that's just the way it works. So they call it a partner pharmacy. How formalized is this partnership really? I'm not so sure it's that formalized. And let me tell you why I'm not so sure it's that formalized. Because you see here, so this is Lilly's website, right? So if you go on your phone, you're going to see this page very nicely. And then they have this link, looking for a provider. Are you looking for a provider, right? So if you're looking for a provider, you would click on it. And if you clicked on it, they're going to try to, access your location, and they're going to find you all of the doctors in your area, and they have a partnership with Health Grades, and they redirect you to traditional clinics, traditional doctors, traditional mom and pop family doctors in your area. That's for point number one. So again, TradHealth, right? Not taking the business away from mom and pop doctors. That's point number one. And then they have this button. You click on the button, and they're like, "Oh, are you looking for telehealth?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm looking for telehealth." So I click because I know a lot about telehealth. I like to think, since I've been covering this space for more than 2 years. So I click, and what do I find? I find telehealth companies that I've never heard of. Absolutely never heard of, with pricing which is a nosebleed price, the same as face-to-face traditional healthcare. So first of all, it's estimated cost, right? You don't know how much it's going to cost if you go through the partners, right? The telehealth options that Lilly Direct recommends for obesity care. These partners, okay, you have estimated cost. So it's $299 a month. Estimated cost, right? And $299 first visit for known well, estimated cost. And I'm not going to comment on 9 a.m. health because that's only in California and Texas. I'm probably only showing this because I'm in Texas, right? This probably should not be factored in your analysis. Let's just look at Form Health and known well. So it's $299. It's $299. Like they redirect you to options that are estimated cost of a doctor visit of $299. So for all you know, it's more than that. For all you know. That's point number one. Point number two is they're trying to get you to use your insurance to pay for those doctor visits. And we know copay with insurance can be expensive, right? It depends what kind of insurance you have. So that's point number two. And then point number three, of course, you got to add the $349 for, assuming you need the minimum dose, you got to add the $349 a month for Zepbound. So right off the bat, you're at $749 a month, $749 a month, assuming you need the cheapest one. And if you need the 5 milligram, which is more standard, right, for like heavier weight loss needs, you're gonna be at $1,000 a month, just under $1,000 a month, just $1 under $1,000 a month. Like, this is nuts. This is so crazy. They redirect you to TradHealth. So this is Lilly Direct is TradHealth galore. So obviously they don't want to deal with Hims. Obviously, they don't want to deal with Ro, because Ro, Hims, LifeMD, they're what do you say? They're the elephants in the porcelain store. They're the sledgehammer in the porcelain store, breaking the business, entirely breaking the business. And why do I say that? And I'll give kudos to Ro. I know these companies are supposed to be competitors, but quite frankly, they shouldn't look at each other as competitors because they're all competing against TradHealth. Hims, Ro, LifeMD, kudos to you. But of course, you think Ro or LifeMD is ever going to show up on LilyDirect? It's never going to show up in LilyDirect. Even if LifeMD takes insurance and Ro sometimes takes insurance, they're never going to show up in LilyDirect because they don't charge $2.99. Ro, the first month, charges you $45. So that's a 0.6 order of magnitude cheaper, right? $45, okay? LifeMD charges you $75 a month for the GLP-1 program. $75 a month, right? So we're like 0.4 orders of magnitude cheaper. $2.99 versus $75, $2.99 versus $45, and then Hims is the ultimate elephant in the porcelain store. They charge you $69 a month for a metformin weight loss pill plan. So because it comes with the medication for $69 a month, you get the doctor visit and the medication. At this point, you gotta compare it to the $749 a month or the $1,000 a month. So Hims is well over an order of magnitude cheaper, and some people would say it's also better because it's a pill, and a lot of people are afraid of injections. A lot of people don't like injections. They like the idea of a pill, right? That's why Lilly stock went up on their obesity pill. So do you think there's ever going to be a partner with these new companies, with the old companies? Absolutely, absolutely not. Not to mention the rest of the business model, which is, of course, let's say you apply with Hims, and let's say you don't qualify for obesity, like I tried. I don't qualify for GLP-1. Do you think they charge you? They don't charge you. What do you think happens if you go to, I don't know, you go Knownwell, you go with Knownwell for your first visit, and you happen to find out that you don't qualify because you're not overweight or something, or you have a condition that doesn't qualify you. Do you still pay the $2.99? Yes, you do. Traditional healthcare, the local doctor, you go see the local doctor, you find out you don't qualify. Do you still pay the $200 for your visit? Yes, you do. Absolutely, you do. And that's why they're the elephant in the TradHealth porcelain store. Like they're entirely breaking the business model. The business model's upside down, right? This is why these companies get so much hate. Because they are not welcome, right? Hims, Ro, LifeMD, they are not welcome. So anyways, Hims is still unbeatable for the taxpayer. And it's $69 a month for the metformin-based customized oral weight loss. And remember, metformin was a diabetes drug too. I mean, it's still one of the leading diabetes drugs. It happens to have as a secondary side effect, happens to be weight loss, right? And that's why more and more prescribers are okay prescribing metformin for weight loss, right? That's $69 a month. So that's already an order of magnitude at the very least cheaper than, say, a LilyDirect option with traditional healthcare. And Hims also prescribes you a real GLP-1, the first generic GLP-1 with an injection pen, and I'll give them kudos to that. And this is what I would look forward to learning more in the next call, because did they develop their own injection pen? It seems like they did. Remember that the single dose vial, this is not an injection pen. There's no injection pen. You have to inject it yourself. So there's no injection pen. Hims developed an injection pen. So I would argue, even though the single dose tirzepatide is once weekly, you still have to inject it yourself with a syringe, right? With a syringe. A lot of people aren't comfortable doing that. Hims, that may be once daily. Liraglutide is once daily, but it's a pen, and a lot of people are more comfortable with pens. Anyways, that's point number one. And point number two, you remember on the call, the CEO said generic liraglutide, if paired with customized oral medication, actually can lead to weight loss profiles, maybe not as good as Zepbound, but in the more than 10%, right? In the 10 to 15% range. So something competitive with Ozempic. So anyways, and at least that's what he said. He said on the call, right? So anyways, the point is you're still if you go for oral weight loss, you're more than an order of magnitude cheaper. If you go for the GLP-1 option, you're 5 times cheaper, maybe more. even with generic. That's why I think they're pushing the generic. And of course, it's all inclusive of your doctor visits. If you go with the branded options, you still have to get your doctor visits through the traditional care system. It's very time consuming. Right, it's very time consuming. You have ping pong risk, right? The doctor doesn't want to prescribe to you, they send you to a specialist. You have a big ping pong risk, as I call it, right? You don't have that at all with HIMSS, and if you don't qualify with HIMSS, you find out and you just stay friends with the company and you don't get upset, right? That's customer centricity right there, like making the customer happy. Right, and I think this is what healthcare is realizing, that risk-free onboarding, that risk-free opportunity to see a doctor. I think traditional healthcare is realizing that their rent seeking is coming to light, and a lot of Gen Z are catching up on that. A lot of people are catching up on that. So I'll conclude with it. You can see that there's a major tension between TradHealth and HIMSS and products like HIMSS. Right, to TradHealth, HIMSS is not a telehealth. Right, option. A telehealth option to TradHealth, something like a Form Health or whatever. I'm sure Teledoc would be considered telehealth in TradHealth, but not HIMSS. So there's a major tension. Why wouldn't a company like Lilly, and I'm sure Ozempic doesn't propose HIMSS as telehealth options, why wouldn't they offer Ro, Lilly, or LifeMD in their telehealth portal? Well, is there a referral fee? You bet. There's a bunch of fees involved. There's a bunch of partnership. These companies are 100 years old. HIMSS is so much cheaper. They don't want to break the business. So I mean, this is your classic. This is not an innovator. This is not innovator's dilemma because they did not come up with this innovation. But this is very akin to an innovator's dilemma. This is just classic disruption. Classic. This is Netflix against linear TV. This is Amazon against Barnes and Nobles. This is your most classic disruption playbook that HIMSS and Ro and LifeMD and all of these other players that I play sometimes are playing. They're all going for that disruption, right? So redirecting versus to expensive telehealth option or local doctors is what TradHealth gets you. TradHealth redirects you to local standard options, right? It's all about trying to get you to use your insurance. It's all about trying to get the maximum insurance payment, right? This is very akin to airlines and yield management. Airlines, the goal of an airline is to manage. It's called yield management. The goal is for them to try to get you to pay the maximum price possible for your plane ticket, regardless of the situation. So they'll try to maximize the yield of each seat, right? That's what airlines do. The healthcare system, the TradHealth system, is not done in a customer-centric way where they're trying to be the best for the cheapest. They're trying to provide more value at the cheapest cost and as a result become a monopoly, right? That's the Amazon playbook, right? Or the Netflix playbook. You provide the most value and you have the cheapest cost and as a result of that you become a monopoly. Or the WhatsApp playbook, right? WhatsApp has replaced entire technology stacks. WhatsApp has replaced texting because it's the most value at the cheapest cost. That's the 21st century business playbook. It's a Blue Ocean's playbook. That's Peter Thiel's playbook, right? 0 to 1. That's the Peter Thiel idea. And of course, it's at odds with 20th century's way of doing business, which is let's not throw a sledgehammer in the porcelain store. Let's not break all of the fancy teapots. Let's keep it all nice. And so the whole system of healthcare is designed to try to maximize health insurance payments. That's why if you try to get GLP-1s via the traditional rails, it's all about asking for insurance every single step. We ask for insurance, we ask for insurance, we ask for insurance every single step because they know they can get more out of you via the insurance than they can via cash pay. And anyways, HIMSS, Roman, LifeMD, they're 21st century businesses, right? They're customer centric. LifeMD, I'm an investor in LifeMD too. I find, and I know some people call HIMSS the Netflix of doctors. Actually, I think LifeMD is closer to Netflix of doctors. $39 a month, one doctor visit a month, right? That's the Netflix of doctors. One doctor visit a month for $39 a month. Remind you, other telehealth options offered by HIMSS are $2.99 a month or $2.99 a visit. So this is super disruptive. HIMSS has I would argue a fairly similar disruption. IMSS doesn't charge you for the doctor visit. They just collapse the cost of a doctor visit in the cost of the medication, because most ailments are treated via medication. Anyways, this is customer centricity. This is the ultimate customer centric business. This is why the ratings of this business on app stores is so high. This is why people on Reddit get upset when they lose access to, say, this form of healthcare, because it is so much cheaper. And I think, what is it, 40 million people in the US who don't have health insurance. It's actually more than that, because you probably people who don't have immigration paperwork in order, who probably can't get health insurance, and so you probably add another 40 to 50 million to that. So it's probably 100 million. I don't know how many people there are, but it's probably 100 million. And then you have the issue of people with very high copays, right? If you have a very high copay, I'm sorry, but if you have a very high deductible health plan, that $45 a month is very appealing to you. That $45 for 1 month, that's $69. It's very appealing to you if you have a copay. Not everybody has the fancy, Blue Cross Blue Shield health plan or whatever. Not everybody has that. A lot of people, especially in our community, the investing community, right? If you're into HSA, and if you love HSA, you're gonna have a high deductible health plan. I have a high deductible health plan. I love it because HSA is just a God gift or something. It's beautiful. That's triple taxation if you follow that space. So triple tax cuts. Anyways, I'm sorry about the tangent. The point is, if you look at HIMSS, it's faster. Why is it faster? You see a doctor in less than 48 hours, most of the time less than 24 hours. If you go via Lilly Direct or Ozempic and you find a local provider, they give you the phone number of a local provider, you got a call, you get a book. How much of a process is that, right? It's probably an hour just to book and pick the doctor, and then it's probably if you live in a big city, at the very least a few days wait. If you live in a normal, not big city, you could have weeks wait time. So it's faster. You get a doctor right away, right? It's cheaper. I've covered that ad nauseum, how much cheaper it is. Let's call it on average an order of magnitude cheaper, and then it's better, right? Why is it better? Well, AI helps treatment plans. Marketing is a science. A lot of people go back and forth, but in the case of healthcare, it's in dire need of marketing, and this is what HIMSS does so well with their pills. They make it appealing. They don't make you feel bad about yourself. They don't make you feel sick. Right? I think this is their ED pill. I think this is their hard mint. Imagine the stigma associated with taking a Viagra pill versus a hard mint, right? They don't make the customer feel bad. This is part of the better story. This is better because your product has marketing which was done in such a way that you don't feel bad about having to take a medication. And it's better because if you don't feel bad about having to take a medication, you're going to have greater adherence to the product, right? Marketing may be silly if you're buying to buy a box of crackers at the store. That's probably a little silly, but in some instances, like this, marketing is not silly. Marketing is important. You have price certainty. You know what you're going to be charged up front, right? Even with telehealth options, the TradHealth telehealth options, it's estimated. It's your estimated cost, right? And you have no insurance complexity. We know the insurance complexity is a big issue. Even if you know how much you're going to get paid, it's a well-known fact. If you use the traditional health insurance system in the US, you have to know that you better be checking your mail for the next 6 weeks after your appointment. Make sure you don't have something that came back and you owe $7. And you better be checking, because if you don't check, that $7 is going to go to collection. And this collection is going to go to the credit score just because you missed a letter that say at a $7 adjustment. So no insurance complexity because it's upfront, because you don't use your insurance. So anyways, they're a major disruptor. This is a major disruption, and I think most people still don't get it. And this is very akin to you may remember in the early days, Tesla was heavily hated because they were really throwing a wrench in the leadership, in the dealership business, and in the gas business. This is all so similar to me, and the story is fascinating. They don't see it coming. I don't think TradFi sees it coming. Just like Netflix, Netflix in the early days, I remember Big Bang Theory was a big show, right? And Netflix had bought Big Bang Theory for $100 million. And so many people registered to Netflix because they wanted to have access to Big Bang Theory for $100 million. And Time Warner had no idea that they were actually entirely killing their business by letting Netflix have Big Bang Theory, right? So this is the same story. So perhaps if Lilly did better strategic surveillance and Ozempic, perhaps they would not let Hims have the branded treatments, because if they let Hims have the branded treatments, that's a major risk, that people just don't go through the traditional rails of healthcare anymore in the future, but they go through the customer-centric, high marketing, highly profitable vertical rails that are created by Ro, that are created by Hims and by LifeMD. So this is all a fascinating development we see in this industry. Anyways, sorry about the tangent. I hope you like the video. This was not investment advice, not financial advice, not health advice, not advice of any sort. This is just entertainment. Hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful, wonderful day.